you...
Honey, there. Just let it be.
Hello, guys.
Can you see?
Boys and girls, can you hear us now, please? Is anyone anyone on the forum hear us now?
Can you hear us?
I'll give a long count. 1, 2.
Cheryl.
Are you hearing us from here or Skype?
No, we're hearing you on the webinar, Jam Cheryl.
All right, I'm going to start Skype. I'm going to disconnect this on Skype.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you already did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is your camera on? Put your camera on, Cheryl.
Okay, camera. I'm looking for where the camera is on here. There it is.
Yeah, good. Boys and girls, while you're out there, can somebody just let us know if you can hear us, please?
Jimmy, yeah, sight and sound. If Jimmy can hear us, we're hoping everyone else can as well.
Can you hear us? Ladies and gentlemen, we just want to explain what's going on. Everything was hunky-dory until about 5 to the hour. And then all of a sudden, we've had a little bit of a glitch in the United States. I ain't going to say anything more than that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to the webinar. Can everybody see Cheryl and Larry at this point, by the way? If somebody can just indicate for us.
Can you see that? Can you see us? And
we can hear you, Cheryl, but your camera's not coming up.
Your camera's off at the moment, Cheryl. Ladies and gents, what I'd like to do is I'd just like to get this underway while we're running. What I'd like to do is open up this evening by letting you know that we are joined this evening, as you all know, by hello there, by Larry and Cheryl Elman. Larry and Cheryl Elman are currently in the US, and they will be joining us in England on the 28th of February and the 1st of March to do their best practices seminar for 2 days, their workshop. Okay.
Thank you all very much for your patience.
Yes. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. It's great to see you both. It's great to see you both on webinar now. Obviously, we've had a bit of a glitch tonight. So, but Larry, I'd just like to go through what we spoke about a little while ago. Just a little bit about your good selves, and obviously about your father, Dave Elman.
Okay. All right. My father, in many of his recordings, will be asked by a doctor some nuance of something he's teaching, and he'll kind of hesitate, like he's scratching his head, and then say, "I think my father taught me that," and then go right on. So I think my grandfather deserves more credit than we normally give him.
Okay.
He was terminal with cancer when my father was 8, and he was in severe pain, and he asked for a hypnotist to provide hypnotic anesthesia. It took, he was able to go out and collect a business debt the next day and then drop dead on a railroad train coming back from getting the money. And my grandmother always said that if he'd waited 10 minutes to die, she'd have had an easier job getting him across the state border. So apparently the anesthesia worked. My father never saw my grandfather again after the hypnosis session, so it was rather a major traumatic item in Dad's life. He began studying my grandfather's library. He began asking local doctors what they knew, and by age 12, he was doing public demonstrations of hypnosis in the local junior high school schoolyard. In his mid-teens, he ran away to vaudeville. Vaudeville was traveling troupes that would play at a local theater in rural areas. There were no movies at this time. And the troupe would come in, play for about a week, and then leave. Each such troupe would have stand-up comics, small plays, musicians, the sort of items you might see on a modern talent show, except these were professionals. And so my father, because of what he already knew, became the stage hypnotist of the vaudeville troupes. And a lot of his subsequent work developed from that. When he got to New York, well, back when, in the middle of all of this, movies suddenly became popular. And for many years in the U.S., the standard joke line was, "What killed vaudeville?" And people would come up with all sorts of theories. pretty much the fact is the arrival of movie theaters killed vaudeville, because suddenly the theater owner said, do I hire 30 people in a vaudeville troupe or one pimply-faced teenager to run a projector? And so vaudeville died. When it died, my father was in New York, and in New York, hypnosis had a bad reputation. So he never even told the lady he fell in love with or any of her family about him being a hypnotist. It just was never mentioned. About 30 some odd years later, as he has a radio show, and I'll go back to his radio show in a moment, he has a hypnotist on the radio show. The hypnotist totally screws up his act really badly, and it's going to hurt the radio show. So my father steps in, politely says, oh, you've done such a good job, Mr. Smith. I'll bet these people would even take suggestions from me. And the hypnotist, knowing that he's just made it bad, says, yes, the next voice you hear will be Mr. Elman. Do whatever he says. And he goes running off the stage. And Dad, at that point, goes into an old-time hypnosis show right out of vaudeville. We get into the car that night. I was there for this. We get into the car that night. As we start to drive home, my mother turns to my father and says, so, Dave, how is it that you know more about hypnosis than the hypnotist? And that's when she first learned that Dad was a hypnotist. A year or two later, some doctors came to my father and asked him to teach hypnosis. They'd all had hypnosis training, but been unable to use it in their practice. So he started teaching hypnosis, and that was the major second portion of his career. The first portion, as I mentioned, he'd been a radio star, important enough in the radio so that Eleanor Roosevelt, the president's wife, came up to handle the radio program when Dad was in the hospital for gallbladder surgery, because otherwise the program would go off the air. If the president's wife considers you important enough to come up from Washington, D.C. to New York in the middle of a depression and a war, you know you're kind of at the top of your profession.
Yeah.
Anyway, returning to hypnosis, Dad taught hypnosis from then until he passed away. And that's a very brief outline of my father's life.
Mm. So how did you pick up the great skill of hypnosis then, Larry?
When I was 10 years old, I asked my father to teach me. My father immediately walked me over to his hypnosis library bookshelf, pulled out a very thick book and said, read this cover to cover and then ask again. Now you can imagine what a 10-year-old says at that point. It was, oh, Dad! But he said, no, I insist. So I went, I read the book. I get back to him, he says, write me a book report on it. I did that. Go back to him, he says, here's 4 more books, but you're lucky. In this one, read chapter so-and-so. One, read chapter such and so and so and so. Anyway, I studied quite a bit for the better part of a year, and I said to him, why am I studying so hard? He says, if I let you in the class, you will be the only person in the room who has not graduated both college and medical school, and I'll be damned if you're going to embarrass me. So I then took my father's course along with the physicians and was treated as a student and went right through the course. And then I took it twice more later in my high school years. And partway through this, my father turns to me and he says, you're not doing your homework. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, all of the physicians are required to do X number of inductions per week and are supposed to bring in written reports of how successful they were and on and on. And I said, yeah, but they got patients. I don't. He said, well, then go out and be a stage hypnotist. You can even use my billing. So I started doing stage hypnosis under the billing, the world's youngest and fastest hypnotist. Now, youngest is easy. I started at age 11. Fastest in those days was easy. Instant inductions did not really exist, and I was using my father's rapid inductions, which were the fastest in the world. So I really earned the title. But if you want to know what title I think is appropriate looking back on it, I was the world's worst stage hypnotist of that generation.
I just have to say, I'm just seeing the chat a little. And
Yeah,
I just have to say, I saw you, Sean Michael Andrews, saying lesson 8, lesson 8. I also would like to say about Sean Michael Andrews that if we ever get to make a movie, what? That if we ever get to make a movie of Dad's life, that we have promised Sean Michael Andrews that he could be the bumbling hypnotist on the radio program. We'll get to lesson 8. Don't let us forget, Sean.
Oh, I'll tell it very shortly. When I was going through the course, lesson 8 was entitled Sex in Hypnosis. This wasn't anything X-rated or anything. This was things like how should a doctor handle menstrual cramps, how should a doctor handle erectile dysfunction, and a whole bunch of other things. So it was from a medical point of view. My father was embarrassed at the title and ordered not be allowed to attend it at age 11. So I missed lesson 8. A couple of years later, I'm in high school and I have what I consider a good sex education. I'm attending the course. He said, same precedent as before, you can't attend lesson 8. So I didn't attend lesson 8 in all 3 times I went through the course. However, one of those times was in our own home, and I was sent up to the bedroom. Now, I want to ask you, if you're a teenager and this happens to you, what is the chances you're going to find a way to eavesdrop? So I told Sean Michael Andrews this story, and one day we're going through my father's artifacts, and he finds a recording of lesson 8, and he pulls it out and he waves it, and he says, Larry, I've got lesson 8. Do you want to hear it? And I looked at him deadpan. I'm in my 70s. I said, do you think it'll do me any good now?
I don't know. So did you enjoy, was it a good, healthy environment for it in, and, and how far would Dad let you just get on with it? I mean, did he have you in clinics with him and stuff?
I would say no. I saw a number of people. We as hypnotists aren't supposed to use the word treated, but I'll use it anyway, because the doctors, to get practice, would bring students to class. So I was present for many of the treatments, but didn't go with the doctors to any clinics. Was present in a number of doctors' offices, so I participated, but remember at 11 and as a teenager, I wasn't doing much medical. I did, however, get assigned at one point to helping my father with supervising the practice. Every lesson, the doctors were expected to practice what they'd been taught. And when you get 20 or 30 doctors all in one room, it's difficult to have all of them practicing and go from one to one and be able to see what's going on. So normally my mother would assist Dad in practicing. She'd take half the class. He'd take half the class. She had a hysterectomy and was away from the class for several weeks, and Dad asked me to assist him at that point, which I did. And I'd been doing so for a week or two when a committee of doctors came to my father and said that he had to fire me because they said it was enough of a blow to their ego that they were being taught hypnosis by a man who was a lay hypnotist. Having their practice corrected by a snot-nosed kid was just too much on their egos. So I got fired. The other quick story on that same thing is Mom and Dad had a particularly tough item for the doctors to practice, and they couldn't all be practicing this particular one at once with Dad and Mom going from person to person. They had to be doing it one after another, so they were lined up in line. And to do one after another, my father looks up and he sees that the line in front of my mother is twice as long as in front of him. And he says, "Why is that?" And one of the doctors calls out, "Face it, Dave, she's a better teacher than you are." And I've always gotten a kick out of that story. And let me say that in today's world, my wife is following in my mother's footsteps. She's great.
Oh, great stuff. Right, Larry. I mean, thanks for that little intro there. I'm quite. We've got 20 minutes left before we start losing people. What I'd like to do, because obviously we're here tonight, because February and the 1st of March this year, you're going to be joining us in England. What I'd like you to do is, what will the students that are listening to us at the moment in time, those hypnotherapists that are listening to us, what will be the Elman induction? But I know that the philosophy of your dad, of Dave Elman, was very important to your good self and to your father as well. So what will they be achieving on that 2-day course with your good selves and Cheryl?
Well, there'll be a number of items covered, as you know, but the point I would like to stress at this juncture is that the Dave Elman induction, first of all, is a process, not a script. But as you learn it as a process, you are also learning a philosophy of how you handle your clinical work. For example, not enough hypnotists adequately test their subjects. Now, not only should you be doing a test during an induction, but if you periodically stick a test in, you will have them convinced they are in hypnosis. Those
Absolutely.
convincers help the power of your post-hypnotics. They make your post-hypnotics significantly more effective. So when we emphasize convincers in the induction, we're really giving you an introduction to what you need to do in your clinical work. Same thing with when we are very strong on semantics. It's to prep you for your clinical work. So when we teach the Dave Elman induction, we're not just teaching it as an induction. We're teaching it as a learning tool for a whole philosophy. And in the 2-day course, we'll not only cover the induction, we will be covering such things as hypnosis for children, regression, a whole bunch of things.
Compounding, deepening techniques.
Yeah.
I think everything, how the basic processes of the Dave Elman methods all go through all the methods, that it's based on process, very client-centered, and that's one of the most important things, to understand what you're working with and not be buried in a script, to actually be able to just be client-centered and work with your client. Age regression, learning about age regression, and the hypnoanalysis versus hypnotherapy. Okay, one is finding the issues, and the other is how to work with the issues, and to help release those problems with the client. Talking about Esdale and demoing Esdale, and what is Esdale good for? So that will be one of the things on there. And I think a lot of practice on perfecting the Dave Elman induction and learning to troubleshoot it. So if a client opens and pops open their eyes, what will you do? What are some of the things you could do to troubleshoot it? What are the things you could do when they don't, quote, lose the numbers? And what is losing the numbers all about? That will be taught on the course also. It's
Good.
not really about the numbers. You know, so knowing the steps, understanding them, and troubleshooting it every step of the way as to what you could do, different options you could do, and to make it very usable. I know, you know, I saw somebody asked if you're doing a demoing an induction, and I know that when we did, we visited your classroom, and I did do a group Elman on the classroom, but we knew everybody was sitting in that classroom and safe. I don't know if any of you are driving or where you're at or when you're listening to that. So I thought about doing a group where everybody could do it, but you know, since I don't know where you all are, I feel much better not doing that today. But that would be how to use group Elmans and what is that good for? You know, what can you use that for? How can that help you build your business? Because not only are we hypnotists and you know, working with people and that aspect, that you can become a hypnotist. And if you can't get people in your chair, you can be the best hypnotist in the world, but you won't make a living at it. So how can some of the Elman methods help you be effective and help you market your business.
Mm. Well, that's it. And, you know, I mean, if people don't have a copy of the Bible that is Hypnotherapy by Dave Elman, that green Bible, then everybody should get themselves a copy of that at least and start reading through that, because it is so much more than just the induction that we all know. You know, so many people read that element of it and then forget about the rest of the book and the best practices and stuff like that. And that's what we're really excited that you're able to bring here to the UK for us.
Yep, and also on our website, there's also some DVD sets. Larry and Sean Michael Andrews teaching the best practices of Dave Elman. So if you can't make it to the class, or even if you do, you know, I always watch it. I always get new things from it every time I watch it. So that actually brings that book to life. It allows you to not only see it, understand it. There's lecture, discussion, and demo on everything. So,
and for those people that are listening, in there, if you go to the Dave Elman Hypnosis Institute, I recommend, if you have not got the Dave Elman Hypnotherapy book or the 4 DVDs, which are the best practices, which you see Sean Michael tonight and Larry on there, and Cheryl as well. They're on there. If you get the DVDs. But myself, I bought it in Vegas with from Cheryl, and I just watch it all the time. Bruce said you always find those little snippets, and also you get to see Larry perform an induction there as well.
So, yep, and it's all menu driven, so you could just go watch the little piece that you want to. And there's another one there of Larry doing a lot of you know, Jason Lynette likes to call the best practice the foundation set and then the centennial set, which Larry filmed with Hans Rudy Wiff from Omni in Switzerland, and that one's about 9.5 hours, and it's in English and German, and that one is, he calls the advanced set. A lot more theory, a lot about Dave Elman. And so there's some different demos on each of them. So there's a lot of good information on both. So I recommend, you know, whatever you'd like. But there's other things there too. And we so look forward to coming to England.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing a great job promoting it. And we, again, are so sorry to be so late.
Oh, no, and the thing about this, Cheryl, is that, and all of our students that are with us tonight, and those people that know myself and Chris, we're all about marketing and getting things out there. And those therapists that have trained with us, and you still haven't got your websites up and running, you know we're inbound, and you know that we're going to be chatting with you. But anyway, what we're going to do is talk about the 2-day course. It's going to be a 2-day course, 28th of February through to the 1st of March. You'll have 2 days experience with Larry and Cheryl, and you'll do pure Dave Elman stuff. What I'm going to say on that is that at this early bird price, Cheryl and Larry have totally agreed that for those that are here tonight, if you go directly to the website and go have a look at it, what you'll get is the early bird price of £349. It's £349 UK. That's £349 for the 2 days. And that when did we agree that was? To the 1st of February, I believe, wasn't it, Cheryl?
I think it was the 2nd of February.
2nd of February. So we'll go with the 2nd of February. So basically, if you sign up today or until the 2nd of February, you will get the price at $349. After that, it's going straight up to $399. So for those people who want to join us, you're more than welcome to. You can come to it. It's a 2 days training, and the pop-up should be just down here. You should be able to see it there. For those who don't want to purchase it tonight, that offer is open till the 2nd of February. It's at $349, and then you will, and after that it'll go up to $399. What I would say on that is the hotel in Cheshunt, which is in Hertfordshire. We'll be sending the details out to those people that register. Just to let you know, when we send it out, you may see a different price on their website. We are getting a night for the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday. We've negotiated that for those 3 nights, you get it for £65 per night. That's including bed and breakfast.
£65 plus VAT. But when we release the code for the hotel, you will need to call them directly. There will be a phone number to ring. You can't book it through their website. but it's is it the
Theobald.
Theobald Hotel in Cheshunt.
Theobald in Cheshunt. It's a De Vere hotel, for those in the UK, it's a De Vere hotel in Cheshunt. And basically, for those that sign up, don't panic about it now. The rooms have already been reserved. We're just waiting for the hotel to give us the details and the booking code, so you can go straight to the hotel, not via the website, straight to the hotel, give the quote and the code, and get that £65 per night. And that's plus VAT. And for those people there on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday, you'll be with myself and Chris and Larry and Cheryl, and I'm sure that there'll be a few more people that are going to be taking, that are going to be turning up as well. I can see turning up on the right-hand side here.
And that's it, and it's, you know, it's like I was saying before, unfortunately you guys didn't have the signal at the time, but between Larry and Cheryl there is such a wealth of knowledge, it's unbelievable. This is the sort of knowledge that we'd love to say you can't buy, but you're going to get the opportunity to extract that information directly from them and, you know, absolutely catapult your own therapy practices and your hypnotic learning in general. Now, we also know that, I mean, Miguel's online with us this evening. I'm not sure if Martin Peterson's in with us, but they are over here on a European tour. They're coming to the UK first, and then I don't know which way around they're going, but they are also going to be in Denmark, and they will be in Portugal with Miguel. You can find all that information on our website.
We're having Portugal first, and then Denmark.
Good, good. Yeah. So,
and then I think you're in Iceland, aren't you?
England.
No.
What?
Are you doing Iceland as well?
No. Iceland's been moved to October, but we're doing England, then Portugal, then Denmark, and we're very much looking forward to it.
Good, good. Well, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, is there anything else that you guys would like to add to it? I mean, for those people who want to know any more information about what we've discussed, obviously we've only given you a brief insight, and obviously with technology and stuff like that, you may have got some cut ins and out. To appreciate, and I'll tell you this now, I've seen Larry and Cheryl at work in Las Vegas, the same as Chris. I've done it for 2 years on the bounce over there, and I can tell you it's an amazing experience. These two guys, it is a world-famous name in the hypnotherapy and hypnosis world. You are getting the opportunity to meet these guys in England in the next few weeks. If you purchase that at $349 before the 2nd of February, then you'll get it at that great price at $349. If not, and you can't get the funds until after that, it's $399. But you get to experience Larry and Cheryl Elman, top-class world trainers. I can't even go through how many awards they've got. Recently, what was the last one you got, Larry and Cheryl?
Educator of the Year.
We each got.
And I am very proud. They pulled Cheryl up for it first. And I really am proud of her. As I say, as I watch her teach and everything, I'm reminded of the extent to which my mother worked with Dad, and I'm blessed to have a lady of this caliber.
So we were very excited. It was from Mid-America Conference.
Great stuff.
We have to figure out how to hang it on brick over the fireplace. That's where I want it.
And the other thing as well, Cheryl, is I noticed on your website, it said that for the first 10 people that sign up, and I know you've already had sign-ups on this course, and there are limited seats, obviously, but for the first 10 people that sign up, you had a piece of original Dave Elman footage for them as a special bonus?
Yes, we'll have a special CD or MP3 for them.
Good,
okay,
good,
that's
good.
absolutely fantastic.
Great. Great. Well, I mean, obviously, what we'd like to do is, what we've got a few minutes left, because obviously we're not sure if the webinar will just shut us down shortly, is questions, ladies and gents, quickly while we're here on the right-hand side. If anyone's got any quick questions they'd like to ask Larry or Cheryl. They should start popping up. There we go. Yes, Michelle Hadrell, yes, you will be swapping your weekend and coming with us on the course.
Good.
Good. You try, Michelle. I'm looking forward to it.
But I mean, at the moment, I think it's a little bit slow for the questions. But what we're going to do is start wrapping up. What I'd like to do is just like to say, I've experienced working with Larry and Cheryl before. Chris has worked with them before. This is an amazing experience. My personal opinion, for those who know me and those who have trained with myself and Chris, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity you can't miss because they're coming to England to meet us. We don't know when the next time that Larry and Cheryl are. They seem to have got their air miles up just lately. So we'll have to see what else they get up to. But I mean, when was the last time you were in the UK, guys?
A year ago? 2 years ago?
In 2013, we were on a tour, and we didn't teach there. We were on we did Hungary, Poland, Romania, Slovenia, and then we were supposed to go to Germany, and that got canceled. So I put out there 9 days in Europe with nothing to do because we still had to do the Netherlands and the Zurich conference. And so we put up there, and our friend Louise Baker and Chris Baker invited us to come stay with them over in Marlow. And so we went and stayed and had a lovely time for 9 days over there in the middle of our tour, and it was lovely. So, but the last time we taught in England was
the previous year.
Was in 2012, like April of 2012.
Okay.
We've been very lucky. We've got some very good friends in England, Louise and Chris Baker, and their 2 dogs. They're wonderful. And Deanna, and several others, but those are the ones that we remember most fondly because we've stayed in their homes and gotten to know them very, very well. And our impressions of not only them, they've been wonderful, but of such towns as Marlow is very positive. We really feel at home when we visit the UK.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to see him, and the venue itself down in Hertfordshire, beautiful venue as well. And obviously, for those people who know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they'll be able to talk to you all night long. I know what you like, Larry. Pull a pin on you and leave you for a few moments and just let you crack on with it. And I'm sure the students and yourself, Cheryl, will love that opportunity to be able to just take that time with you, not just in the classroom, but when we're relaxed at night time and we can have a couple of soft drinks and maybe just talk the night away about hypnosis. It'll be an absolute, this is an ideal opportunity to immerse yourselves in hypnosis with some of the world, in fact, 2 of the world's leading trainers in hypnosis.
Okay, Cheryl, just a quick question that's come up into the sidebar for you. Bob has asked, will there be copies of any of your books and DVDs on that weekend that you're here in the UK?
Yes, and if people know specifically they would like things, and if we could bring it for them, that's great.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Bob, there's your answer.
We will have some, and then if there is, if people still order, we'll have them shipped. So no problem, we'll have stuff.
Just a quick one there. There's one that's just come in there. Jimmy, I know you're over in Deutschland and you had the pleasure of meeting Cheryl and Larry last night. There's no excuses. You're only a couple of miles. You're only in Paderborn in Germany and we're in London. So you have no excuses, Jimmy Deans. Angelo, from Angelo, what accreditations will the course add to my portfolio?
There will be a certificate for the best practices of Dave Elman course.
Okay.
And so it will be a certificate for your wall.
Good. And do you have your? I take it it's just the Dave Elman badge that they'll be able to use on their websites and being able to say that they've been trained by you good guys as well.
You know, yes. I had never done that, but I guess we could do that. That's a good idea.
There you go. Well, never stop thinking about it. But the thing is, though, is that these, at the end of the day, it's been great to have you. Very good hangout. You must come to Portugal and speak to all of us. It's one of the questions.
They are coming to Portugal.
They are going to Portugal.
Speak to
me. We will be in Portugal the next weekend on the 7th and 8th, and we're having a webinar on I think it's Wednesday about it. So if Miguel, if you're still on there, if you can put down some information, that's great.
Yeah, Miguel Coco's, he's around. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen Martin pop up just yet. Bob, will Carl behave on the evenings? Yes, for those who know me, yes, I'm always a good boy. So what I'd like to do is...
You know what? I will make sure he behaves.
Oh boy. See what you got yourself into.
I know. But the thing is I'd like to say, and there's a lot of comments coming up from the right-hand side, very much, Larry and Cheryl for tonight and for doing it. For our boys and girls that have been listening in tonight, at the very beginning, but I hope that meeting Larry and Cheryl tonight has given you the opportunity to understand a little bit more about Dave Elman, a little bit more about Larry and Cheryl, and a little bit more about what you are going to be getting on the course on the 28th of February and the 1st of March.
For the gentleman, I can't remember his name, that was asking about them going to Portugal, Miguel has put a link in the sidebar. You might need to scroll down a bit to find it now, but there is a link for the event. I'm not sure if that's a link for the event of the actual training or whether it's for the hangout with Cheryl and Larry that's happening on Wednesday, but either way, that is there for you.
And for those who may want to go to Denmark, for those people that may be listening to us in Europe or from further afield, if you want to go to the Denmark one, please contact us at the Academy and we'll pass on Martin's details. But you can find all of our contact details on UK Hypnosis Academy. You can email, or if you find the group, Learn Hypnosis UK, or the group that we're in, we'll be chatting all day long about that. So, Larry and Cheryl,
can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
That is for anybody interested on Monday and Tuesday, the 16th and 17th, we will be doing a Train the Trainers course in Denmark also. So feel free to contact us if you're interested in that. Contact us personally.
That's if you want to be an Elman trainer and do the courses. So I'll be going over to Denmark as well. So I'm going to be staying with the guys. Chris is going out to America to go perform. I'll be going out with Larry and Cheryl out to Denmark to do the 2 days again, plus the trainer course. So I can bring that back to the UK and bring Dave Elman's work to England. So anyone that wants to join us out there, you're more than welcome to.
Cheryl, you've just had a marriage proposal from Bob.
Bob Burns is on there.
Oh, so now I just have to tell a story. So this is Bob Burns. Bob, there was another Bob that signed up for our class. His name was Burnett.
Bob
and
Burnett.
I asked him to bring the ring. and he wrote back to me and said, I think you have the wrong person. So Bob Burns, if you come on, bring the ring.
There you go.
Now, how did this all start? I had put up a posting in which I bragged about how wonderful Cheryl is, and Bob Burns said that I'd had her long enough, he wanted her. And so that started a bunch of posts back and forth.
So, anyway.
I'm just going to go. I'm going to throw something in there for Bob, and I'm sure he'll appreciate this, ladies and gents. Hopefully, Bob's going to join us down there. But if he doesn't, what I'd like you to do, and it's because Bob's a very good friend of the Academy, what I'd like you to do is have a look at Bob Burns. That's the Swan by Bob Burns. Have a look at his technique. It's an amazing technique. If he does turn up down in with us, then I'm sure that he'll give you a good old demonstration of it. It's an amazing technique. I use it, and we demonstrate it on our courses as well to show people how good it is as well. So anyway, quick sidetrack because Bob popped up there. But what I'd like to do as well is, ladies and gents, we're going to draw this to an end. Just to finalise, what I'd like to do is just say the 28th of February to the 1st of March, you're going to receive the 2-day Dave Elman Best Practices. If you book before the 2nd of February, you will receive it at £349. That's UK at £349. After that day, that's the early bird price. After that day, it shoots back up to £399. Not forgetting, ladies and gents, that don't book your hotels just yet. We will be firing out that information. We'll be working closely with Larry and Cheryl over the next few days. The hotel are going to give you a booking fee. That's £65 plus VAT, not the £130, £140 that you may see. It is for £65. We've negotiated a fairly good price for the hotel, and they're looking good. Apart from that, what I'd like to do is just, I would like to say thank you very much once again, Larry and Cheryl, for your time tonight, and also for choosing the UK Hypnosis Academy to come over to UK to teach the wonderful stuff of Dave Elman.
I just want to say thank you both, and I just wanted to say to Lewis, I think you're right.
Yeah, I caught that one as well. And Lewis has got no excuses either. He can fly to Florida. So, but no, it's great.
So thank you, and again, we are so sorry that we were late. We wish we had more that we could say, but come to the class, and we're there for hours after class, so we're there for the weekend. Come.
And we're very appreciative of the opportunity and of all the help that we've had from Carl and Chris. and we have a great deal of respect for their operation.
Thank you very much. It's great. It's great coming from you two guys.
Just to answer Sally Ann's question, will you get the rate for Friday and Saturday? Yes, it's the same rate we've negotiated with the hotel for all. If you choose to stay on the Friday, the Saturday, or the Sunday, or three of them, just one of them, it's going to be the £65 plus VAT, fixed rate for the bed and breakfast at that particular venue. And it is a lovely venue as well. It's like a manor house. Yeah. I've checked out their website. It looks beautiful there.
Yeah. And just to let you know, don't panic on the hotels just at the moment. We've reserved the rooms. We're just waiting for the hotel just to give us the code and register with Larry and Cheryl with the link that we've given you. Or if you go to the UK Hypnosis Academy website, and we'll have a look at the blog that we've punted up there. Have a good look at that. All the links are on there, including our interview with Larry and Cheryl in Las Vegas this year. I've got nothing more to add, Chris.
No, just answering a couple of other questions. People have been asking if the webinar is available to be replayed after tonight. Yes, it is. I believe you will be automatically emailed from when you registered the replay link for that, so you can watch it in your own time. Angelo, when can you book the hotel from? We believe you should be able to do it from Monday next week. We're just waiting on all the paperwork to come back from. Everything's been confirmed. We've already provisionally booked all the rooms there for you guys at that fixed rate. As soon as we get that information, we'll tell you straight away, and you can call the hotel directly.
Well, I think that's about time that we call that to an end. At the end of the day, it's now just coming up to 9:10 in the UK. Us this evening from all over the world. Thank you very much from myself, Carl Smith, and from Chris Gillis. I'd just like to say one more time, thank you for Larry and Cheryl, and we look forward to seeing you on the 28th of February and the 1st of March for the 2-day best practices of Dave Elman. So, thank you very much.
Thank you all very much, and we look forward to it. Bye-bye.
Good. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.